The narrative begins in a dense forest in Florida, where two adventurer photographers are hiking and trying to capture the image of a beautiful animal. They are Wilson and Carl, friends who show affection for each other. While Wilson walks ahead, Carl takes selfies for his social media and marks the trees they pass so they do not get lost. After minutes of walking, the two stop to rest under the canopy of a tree. Wilson says it would be a great place to live, but Carl says it would not be good to be there at night. While they talk, Carl checks the GPS while Wilson takes pictures of something. Suddenly, he is struck by a gunshot. Frightened, his companion drops the device and runs for his life. He desperately sneaks through the forest vegetation, afraid of being the next victim. Back at the crime scene, Wilson, still alive, watches his enemy approach. The man's name is Ted. He drops his weapon and makes a short prayer, offering the wounded man as a sacrifice for his sins. Severely injured, Wilson shows no reaction, and unfortunately, the unknown hunter finishes him without mercy. After that, he leaves as if nothing had happened. Meanwhile, Carl continues running through the forest, but suddenly someone knocks him to the ground and then finishes him. A few days later, two siblings are introduced, Kate and Mitchell. She is going through difficulties in a past relationship and has problems with addictions. However, wanting to help his sister, Mitchell brought her to a recovery environment to have fun hiking in the forest with other women and to have an experience in nature like never before. Next, Rebecca is introduced, the leader who will take the women on the adventure, who, with the help of Cody, prepares the route they will follow. They are therapists and tour guides and have received requests and payments to go to a certain forest point, taking their clients. The coming expedition is a program created by Rebecca for women. Through excursions that cross the entire forest extension, she promotes unique experiences that improve the mental, emotional, and physical state of the participants. The group creates a bond with nature, with other people, and with themselves. For the therapist, these experiences generate positive changes. While they talk, the news broadcasts a forest fire. Even with this unforeseen event happening in the region, Rebecca says they will take the tour by another route, bypassing the obstacle, and points out the final destination the group will follow. Kate enters the reception house and is reprimanded for being late, but with a brief excuse, and as a client who has already paid for the trip, Rebecca welcomes her and takes her to meet the other companions. The young women are Madison, the most vain. Joy is also introduced, who does not like Jenny messing with her things. Jenny is the strangest, carrying a pocket knife and insulting Kate for having an injury on her lips, already knowing what caused the wound. Ellen and her partner Sheila are also there. The meeting is brief as the time to depart approaches. Kate goes to take a shower and there in the bathroom remembers her suffering and injuries, and for a moment knows that the trip she is taking will rekindle the flame of living a new life. When everything is ready, the women set out on the adventure that will last, on average a week, hiking and traveling through the vast forest. The women were advised, before being there, to read the survival manual, because the place where they will be is dangerous and can bring adverse and risky situations. Among all of them, Kate, arriving late, did not witness the review of the instructions. Before leaving, Rebecca is confronted about the major detour they will have to make because of the fire. But with no other alternative and wanting to reach the marked destination, the group of women accepts and soon departs. Inside the van, the group heads to the forest, excited for the adventure that in fact will be something to make them better as individuals. After hours on the road, Cody stops the car near the entrance of the national forest. Before proceeding to the beginning of the experience, Rebecca talks about her past, when she had the opportunity to participate in something similar, and that to her happiness, the experience made her a better person. The young women listen attentively to the advice, and Rebecca warns that nature is neutral toward its inhabitants. However, with a moment of carelessness, it can destroy you, so whoever enters that place must always be attentive and prepared. Cody then hands the GPS to Rebecca and says goodbye to them, stating that he will wait for them on the other side of the forest. Taking their backpacks, the group of women enters the forest. At the beginning, the girls see a car door used for target shooting, and Joy, upon picking up a cartridge, shows she knows the caliber, since, having served in the army, and having been shot, she can identify the ammunition. Before continuing, Kate notices that Jenny, in a subtle way, swallows a pill and believes it to be something illicit, but does not say anything to the leader. The group continues and helps each other cross stones in a small stream, gestures that show that the experience will create strong and lasting bonds. After a few hours, they stop to rest and rehydrate. Seeing Madison with her phone, Rebecca states that the area has no signal, so they must be very careful, because if they have serious injuries and need urgent rescue, that will be very bad for them. While Kate rests, she removes her new boots for a moment, as her feet are already showing signs of blisters. On the other hand, Joy, knowing a bit about self-location, shows Rebecca where she will go, choosing to have some time alone, something she came to seek there, since she does not feel comfortable around Jenny. She says she will meet them 5 kilometers ahead, something that is not good for the leader, but unable to prevent it, she accepts her choice. A few minutes after the break, the others continue the route. Meanwhile, on the road toward the other side of the forest, Cody encounters a vehicle in the middle of the road. He gets out to check if there is any problem, but finds no one. When he checks the rear compartment of the abandoned car, he is left speechless by what is inside. Suddenly, a man surprises him and strangles him with a rope, while the others, including the hunter Ted, watch the crime. Then, the body is placed in the van's compartment and taken to the criminal's hideout. Later, the group of women is seen camping on the first night. They talk about their lives and share smiles with the stories of the couple Ellen and Sheila. On the other hand, Kate only observes them, somewhat distant, still excluding herself from group interaction and refuses to share her life. Time passes and they try to connect. Madison says she liked Jenny's tattoo and states she wants to get one when they return. Jenny says that the mark reminds her of her brother who died, and that she carries the symbol to always remember him, and that it also reminds her of something for which she felt responsible for having happened. Hours later, Kate listens to an audio recording from her abusive boyfriend, saying he regrets his actions, but that he needs to return with her because the separation is consuming him inside and is making him even angrier. She turns it off and worries about getting some sleep. Somewhere in the forest the next day, the hunters are seen praying over the deaths of their already buried victims. They are, besides Ted, his younger brother Zeb, Chris, Zeke, and a human who behaves like their hunting dog. The group must be part of some macabre cult that hunts and kills whoever enters that region of the forest. Back to the women, they come across a cabin near the river, but do not go forward to check the place and its inhabitant. The female group continues along the trail, walking calmly along the peaceful path. At a certain steep location, Rebecca tells them to be careful with the ravine beside them. At that moment, Kate is careless and missteps, causing her to trip over the guide and unfortunately knock her down the ravine. Luckily, Rebecca only dislocates her shoulder. Her companions approach to help, and Kate manages to put the arm back in place. They stop to decide what to do. As the guide was injured in the fall and cannot continue or carry things, she needs to rest. The group then, after a rest, goes a little further and comes across a country house. However, with no one there, they remain outside. Kate sits with Rebecca, who is still in a lot of pain. The guide thanks her for the help and discovers that Kate was an excellent doctor. While the friends set up the tents, Jenny reflects on entering the house, something that is not appropriate. When Kate approaches them, she notices that Jenny is not among them. When she looks for her, she ends up finding her on the other side of the house. Remembering that she had apparently illicit substances, Kate discovers what it is. She then asks for a pill so she can give it to Rebecca and help her with the pain. Upon receiving the milligram of the pill, Kate discovers that Jenny is addicted and needs the pill so as not to suffer a harmful withdrawal crisis. Noting that she does not have many, she fears for her companion's safety. Knowing that the trip is long and assuming that the lack of medication would be risky, she may have a sudden illness. Jenny does not care about the concern and pushes Kate away with her rudeness. Next, Kate reflects on what to do with the pill, knowing that it can relax her muscles and conflicts. In the next scene, Joy is seen, who moves away from her companions and approaches the clearing where the men from the beginning were attacked. She sees paint marks on the tree and on the ground, a GPS device covered in blood. Having some experience, she notices that something is wrong. At that moment, a branch breaks, and she realizes that something is approaching through the forest vegetation. She runs desperately, trying to return to her friends, but the human hunter pursues her as if he could smell her. Acting wisely, Joy intercepts the tracker and with a piece of wood tries to knock out her enemy. However, the human is stronger and the fight does not last long. The butcher seriously injures the woman and leaves her to die as if she were just an animal. At the camp, Rebecca lends the GPS and a portable charger to Madison. At that moment of apparent tranquility, a shot hits the guide's body, and the shock makes the others run, fearing imminent danger. In panic, the group of friends ends up separating. Soon it is seen that they are the hunters who have arrived near the place. The perverse Chris, eager for something more, runs toward them and reaches Ellen, immobilizing her against the ground, not allowing her partner to help her immediately. However, Sheila picks up a stone and knocks out the aggressor. Then, the group of women runs away, entering the difficult paths of the forest. Back at the camp, Ted approaches Rebecca and asks how many women were with her, causing her pain to speak, but remaining firm, she says nothing. Unfortunately, Ted tells his companion that she is unnecessary and then finishes her with a shot. The others call Ted, and soon he realizes that a member of his group has been brutally killed. He, together with the other brothers of the cult, makes a prayer, and shortly after that, asks the tracker human to find the women and hands him a knife in case he needs to use it. Meanwhile, the friends find themselves lost, not knowing the safe direction to follow. The only path ahead is a hill of irregular rocks, a danger they must face if they want to get away from their enemies. Carefully, they descend, holding on without safety equipment. Unfortunately, Jenny steps on a point weakened by the rain, and a rock falls, hitting Madison's forehead, causing her fall and inevitable death. A few minutes later, fortunately, the others reach the ground safely, with their faces of fear and panic, not fully understanding the attack. They mourn the loss of their friend. However, they need to keep moving away. Sheila takes the device that was with Madison, and not being able to carry the deceased, they leave her there. They proceed through the vegetation until they find a cabin in the middle of nowhere and enter to see if they find something useful. A few hours later, as night approaches, the women question what happened for them to be attacked out of nowhere. Without plausible explanations, Kate only says that such hunter men will not stop until they find them and that they must expect the worst. Tired, they stay there and spend the night. The next morning, Sheila uses the portable charger to turn on the GPS, and they soon discover a point that may be welcoming and safe. With no other alternative, they continue walking, heading to the new location. After hours walking, they stop to rest. Then the tracker approaches Ellen and tries to attack her. She runs and screams, drawing the attention of her friends. Fortunately, before it has a tragic end, between choosing to jump off a cliff or face her enemy, Sheila jumps onto the man. The fight is unfair due to the disproportionate strength. Using the knife, the madman injures the woman. Kate appears and in a brave and brutal way, moves to fight the butcher, using a metal bar she found in the cabin. Ellen helps with the counterattack, and both manage to knock the enemy off the cliff. Then the women help Sheila, and Kate improvises a bandage on the wound. Unable to stay there, they lift their friend and leave quickly before they are found by the other hunters. A few hours pass, and as another night approaches, the group needs to stop due to Sheila's injury, which is weakening her more and more. The friends help carry her and remain silent so as not to alert the enemies. Perhaps for their luck, a house is found in the forest, and Kate offers to check if there is danger. The doctor approaches stealthily a nearby cabin and enters. Noting that there is no one there, she calls her friends. The four enter and try to help the injured friend as quickly as possible. Knowing that she needs something to give Sheila, Kate says she will look in the main house. Unfortunately, as soon as she leaves, the friend does not last long and dies there, causing emotional pain for her partner who breaks down in tears upon losing her companion. Outside, Kate crosses a suspension bridge to the ground below and heads to the house. There, she looks for medications and a first aid kit, but finds nothing. She hears noises and decides to leave, but unfortunately, at that moment she is surprised by Zeke, who knocks her down. He presses her against the wall, but she uses her fingers to injure his eyes and get away. When he tries to prevent her escape, Kate grabs the metal bar and strikes blows that finish the man. She runs and ends up witnessing the conversation between Ted and Zeb. Ted asks his companion to go in search of their partner and to leave only 2 of the women alive so that they can enjoy something they desire. Meanwhile, in the house, Jenny tries to comfort her friend. Seeing that she is very afraid, she hands her the knife she picked up earlier after the tracker attack. She then goes to the front door, but ends up being hit by a shot. At that moment, Kate appears and pulls her inside. On the other hand, it is discovered that the tracker survived the fall and attacks Ellen, throwing her out of the cabin. The butcher tries to finish her, but, with fury and wanting to avenge her partner, Ellen uses her strength and, without mercy, drives the blade into her enemy, thus sealing his end. Inside the house, Ted suddenly arrives and prevents the escape of the other 2. Suddenly, Ellen enters and wounds him with the knife. Seeing that he is at a disadvantage, the man leaves and moves away from the cabin. When they check Jenny's wound, they are happy, as it only hit her shoulder. Knowing that the sun will soon rise, Kate asks Ellen to help Jenny move away from the place, while she is determined to face the leader of the criminals. In the next scene, Ellen is seen outside waiting to meet Kate again, but at that moment Zeb stealthily enters and positions himself in front of the wounded Jenny. He asks if she is pure, to which, in order to escape death, the woman says yes. When he becomes distracted while putting away his weapon, she drives the blade she carried into his neck, thus killing him. Away from there, Kate surprises Ted, taking the knife lodged in him and stabbing him 3 more times. However, the enemy is cunning and refuses to die. He throws her to the ground, leaving her at the mercy of death. While he carries his weapon, Kate quickly grabs the blade and wounds Ted's arm, which makes him drop the weapon. Fortunately, Kate picks up the shotgun and, without thinking twice, fires at her oppressor, finally ending the hunter's cult. The morning of the next day arrives, and Kate is seen searching for the way back to her friends. Fortunately, she hears the sound of a car passing on the road and finds the path that will bring her salvation, as well as that of her friends. The final scene shows the trio hugging, happy to be alive and to have escaped the terror of the hunters.